Hope you're doing well. This is Rocky from Lake Highlands United Methodist Church. For our devotional today, I decided to take a look at our reading from the book of Esther, chapters 4 through 6. Now, in this story, let me just make sure that you are caught up to what is going on. So the people of Israel, the Jews, are now under the control of the Persian Empire. And the current king, King Xerxes, has picked his queen to be Queen Esther, who is of Jewish descent. Now, Esther has a cousin, really adopted father, in Mordecai, who is another important figure within the community. And the other player in this story is Haman. Now, Haman, who is appointed second in command under Xerxes, is having a parade in order to honor him. And he notices that Mordecai is not bowing down to him. Now, we don't know why exactly Mordecai is not. Maybe he knows that Haman is not a good man. But whatever the case, Haman is furious with Mordecai. And rather than just go after Mordecai, Haman knows that Mordecai is a Jew. And so he is going to convince the king to kill all the Jews in the kingdom. Now, Mordecai, hearing this news, is distraught, and he rips off his clothes and he puts on a sackcloth, and it's just mourning. Now, Queen Esther notices that Mordecai is in great distress and asks him why, and then Mordecai explains what is going on, and then pleads to Queen Esther, you have to go before the king. You have to see if you can stop this from happening. Now, we learn that in our reading that to go before the king and to be requested by the king means that there is a possibility of death involved. And so Queen Esther, knowing this, and she thinks long and hard, but ultimately comes to the decision that she has no other choice but to go before the king, to take that chance. As she says in in chapter 4, verse 16, in which she says, I will go to the king, even though if it is against the law, and if I perish, I perish. What amazing courage from Queen Esther, this young lady, to go before the king. And luckily, when she goes, the king is pleased to see her and is overjoyed and says, whatever you ask for, Queen Esther, I will give to you. And so we see that we know in the story that Queen Esther is going to to convince the king to not order the death of all of the Jews and to see that Mordecai is honored. And it's just amazing courage of one person who stood up for an entire people and saved them. And we know that this is not the last time that the Jewish people will be persecuted. We know that it happened in the time of the Roman Empire. In Russia, we definitely know in Germany, and even here within our own country, that they face persecution, anti-Semitism. And so we are reminded in the book of Esther that for all people, the church is called to stand up, to be a voice, even in the face of maybe that's not popular. But we are called to do something. And so in this story, and especially in today's time, in the fact that we are reminded that we are called to speak up, to act on behalf of those who are being persecuted as God's people, and to listen to God speaking into our heart to do something, to be his hands and feet, to care and to love one another completely. And so let us, as you're reading today, and I hope that just in time of prayer, is that you will pray, where is God leading you to make a difference? Where is it that maybe you're seeing those around you who may be being persecuted for their gender, for their class, for the color of their skin, for whatever reason, and then maybe God's leading you on your heart to say, there is something I need to do. Because the church is not called to sit on the sidelines. The church is called to act and to love and to be an agent of God's justice in this world. So let us do that. Let us look to Esther as our encouragement to do that. Thank you, and God bless.